Hey students, this is Dr. Miller again, and I'm going to go over assignment 3 instructions. The instructions are pretty simple. After you read the articles and watch the videos, you're going to create a blog. So you can use Blogger, and I'll talk about that in a minute. You can use WordPress, or you can use another blog creation tool. It really doesn't matter. What you are doing when you create a blog, though, is you're creating a website. And a blog, it's a kind of a term that came out really in the 1990s, late 1990s, blogging began. And it was a way of just allowing people to develop and post content in terms of essays or something that they're writing about. But it's expanded some since then. The other thing you're going to do is you're going to create Instagram and an Instagram business account. Of course, with Instagram, you can really only post things from your phone. There are some workarounds as to how you can get images to your phone, but it's still the only way you can do it on Instagram. So you would create your business account and get that set up. And there are some readings and videos that'll help you with that. And then, of course, you're always going to be posting content. And we've got Facebook and we've got Twitter. And now we're going to do Instagram too. Instagram is photos. There are creative ways to use your photos, though. You can take a photo of an advertisement, for example, and make that business ad on Instagram. As you will do all the time, you're going to report what you're doing on Facebook and Twitter and now Instagram. And what you're going to turn in is I need the URL for your blog and then your handle or account name for Instagram. Give me a reporting of the posting that you've done, and you can do the same, of course, on Twitter and Facebook, and if you're clever, you can figure out a way to use Instagram too. And then I want you to report those engagement things. How many likes did you get? How many reposts or retweets or shares? How many comments did you get? And that sort of thing. And again, this is tough in this mini term to get a whole lot of traction going. But what I'm seeing from the students that are really grasping this is great. It's excellent. So let's switch over and look at Blogger for a second. Now, if you haven't signed up for a Blogger account, you just go to blogger.com or Google Blogger, and then you're going to create your new blog. So once you've got that going, I'll show you my blog. And this is sort of the dashboard on it. Now, if I click on this little down arrow, you can see I've created other blogs. So like I ran for political office once and created a blog that's still out there. And let's take a quick peek at that. Okay, so this is a blog post that I've put up here back when I was doing that. You can also check out I created for my aunt on her 80th birthday, and all I did was to take a bunch of photographs from my Flickr and put them in here in a sequence so she could see photos of our family. This blog, the Lawrence G. Miller blog, is one that I've used sporadically for this course. So if we view this blog, this is the main content area here. And so these are blog posts that I created, and I did this one just today. And it's called I'm Taking a Stand on Plastic Pollution. And this is viewing it in the blog. If I click on this, it takes the other content areas away, but it's basically the same thing. This is my header up here, and I'm using just my name with a kind of a particular type style there. And then this is kind of what I'm about. along here. And this does have an About Me. And I do have my Twitter feed over here too. So this is all the Twitter stuff that's going along. Now, why do I want to have a blog for this course? Well, as you remember, this course is about content. In terms of social media, you have to have content. So what I've done here is I found an article. It's called First Step, actually. And what I've put in here is a link. You see when I hover over First Step, it turns into the hand. Well, that means it's a link. So if I right click on the link, I can open in a new tab. And this takes you to the First Step page. And what they'd like you to do is to skip using plastic straws. And there's almost 150,000 people that have signed up on this pledge. I've signed up the other day. And the idea is just to get plastic out of our environment if we can. It's a difficult task, but we all have to contribute to it. I did a blog post on that particular thing. Now over here, this is kind of the blog archive. So I really haven't posted a whole lot on this blog since the last time I taught the class. So here's other postings I've put out there. Here's another one. Now you notice I put photographs in some of these blog posts. I think it's really important to kind of dress up text with some photos when that's appropriate, and it almost always is. If we go back to the dashboard here, what you're going to do initially is you're going to come up with a layout. And there are themes that you can pick. You can go through all these different themes and select one you think is cool. And if you like that one, for example, see how it changes everything around. I don't like this one at all, and I would never use it, but just for the sake of showing you. And I can apply this, but I'm not going to. So I'm just going to X out of that. But the area here called layout is very important. If you remember the blog, the main part, this is the blog posts here. And these are widgets that I have on the sidebar, or they're actually called gadgets. I'm sorry I called them widgets, but they are actually called gadgets. And there's a number of different gadget formats that you can have. And so these are the ones I have. This is the list of blogs that I read. And this is my archives. And then down here is a book review. And frankly, I probably haven't done much with that, so it's not great. But it does create a kind of a impression that I'm a real person and that I do interesting stuff. That's important. Now, I'm going to edit this one because this organization called Profology went out of business. And so I don't need to have it. I'm going to remove it. And I'm confirming that I'm removing it. So that one's gone from my sidebar over here. Up here, and you go to the theme designer area. And this is the real important interface. And it lets you customize your look and feel beyond the themes. So you could select a theme but use a different type style, for example. So you can have a background. You can adjust the widths of your sidebars. You have to be careful with it because you want to make this posting area your main one. But if you're, see how that moves that left one back and forth a little bit. Your layout, I have the layout that is basically sidebar, post, sidebar, and you can do things a little bit differently if you want to. And then you can get into the advanced area, and this is where you can select your types, and the types are all over the place, so you have to be careful and select the right types. So the Lawrence G. Miller here is a font called Rock Salt, and I don't really want to change that, so I'm going to leave it here. But I could change the size. I could actually make it bold, not bold. And when you're done with this, you can apply to blog like that. And then we can get out of the designer by going back to Blogger. And here we are back here. Now, there is a mobile view for Blogger, and we should be mindful of the mobile, but we're not going to do that for this course. It's just makes it too complicated, frankly. So if you're into serious editing on the Blogger, you can actually use the HTML, which is the scripting language, which is this. And if you know how to do that, you're a better person than I. This is the script text that actually creates the blog. If we go down here to help, these are basically questions that people have put forward, and if you're lucky, you might find your answer to something in there, or you can just come right into this help area and you can ask questions about the Blogger experience. And you can also manage your comments. If you want to have comments, that's great. If you don't really want to have comments, you can just make it where people can't comment. You can also do what's called moderate comments, and that is you're allowing people to comment, but you would be the determiner as to whether people saw that. So let's get out of the Help Center and go back to Blogger. And let me just show you the process of creating a post. So here's this kind of a typical user interface, an editor, if you will. So you're going to put the title of your post, and you're going to put your post text down here. Okay, now a couple of things. If I wanted to add an image, I click on this. I can choose files. I would look for an appropriate image and select it. And first it's going to put it in here. So it's not on my blog until I say add. Okay. Now when I hover over this and click on it, I can place it. I can put it on the right side, for example. And I can also make it really big. And notice how that changed where the text was. I can literally move the text though. Just drag it and move it. And then I can add a caption to this, or I can remove it. So if we had everything we wanted up here and we're ready to go, I would recommend saving it, and then we can preview it. So here's my test post. The Blogger, and we're in the layout area here. If we go to post, I can go back and I can look at all the posts that I've done through here, and some of them are pretty old now. but I can trash them, I can edit them. So if we wanted to add a gadget, let's click on add a gadget on, well, let's go over here because I took out that one. All right, so these are the gadgets that you can get. For one thing, you can do a search on your blog. And if you click this, you're going to just create a little search interface. If you know JavaScript and you want to do something, this is it. This is the archive, which I have. This is where you can add just an image on your sidebars. You can label your posts. This would be if you had more than one page. This is a good one here. This is a link list, and what it would let you do is if you wanted to share with your readers a bunch of links to blogs or news stories or other things you want to do, you would simply go to, let's say we're going to go to this first step one right here, and you copy, and we come back here to the configure link list, and I'm going to paste the URL in here. Oops, I actually meant to get rid of that first. Just make sure you clear that out before you paste this in here, because you're bringing this front part with you. And so this would be called first step, and I would click this add link, and then I would save it. Okay, so now I have my link list, and if I go up here to preview, here it is, first step. It's a preview, so it's not active. But if I published it, that would be there, okay? So I don't really want the link list up at the top there. I'm going to go in here, I'm going to remove it, I'm going to say okay, and it's gone. But this is how you add gadgets. And again, there's a bunch of them. So we got down to that link list. Here's just some text. Here are your stats if you wanted. Here's where you can add your email. So that's Blogger, and we'll go back to view my blog, and it's it's not the most elegant website environment in the world, but it works. WordPress will let you do a few more things, but it's a little more in terms of learning. But that's it for Blogger. If you have any questions, please let me know.